Hi friends, welcome to the new series of Angular interview concept with explanation. In this series I am explaining the concept those are most focused on Angular interviews. Let's start. What is the difference between constructor and ngOnInit? This is one of the most Angular interview question and also this one of the most confusing concept when building the Angular component, like what we have to put in the constructor and what we have to put in the ngOnInit, and both are fair at the beginning of the component. Ever wondered why Angular gives us both a constructor and ngOnIt? Are they interchangeable or do they serve different purposes? In this video, we will break down the key differences between the constructor and ngOnIt and when to use each in your Angular component. Overview of this concept. Let us start with constructor. A constructor is a TypeScript feature, not Angular specific, and called when the class is instantiated, used for dependency injection and basic property setup. Runs before Angular initialize the component. Constructor is the best place to add the all dependencies, and constructor is automatically called at the time of creating the object of the class. And come to ngOnInit. ngOnInit is the second stage of Angular component lifecycle hooks. There are the 7 lifecycle loop of Angular and ngOnInit is the second one. ngOnInit function which guarantees you that the component has already been created because constructor is called at the first time when the component is being initialized, and ngOnInit invoke by the Angular when component is initialized, and actual business logic performed here because the component loading and initialization is completed before the ngOnInit call. So same thing, we can't write the business logic in the constructor because some of the initialization is not completed, so we can't write the some logic into over there. Called after Angular sets up the component input. ngOnInit for initializing the logic that depend on the binding and services and runs after the constructor. Come to the code comparison. We have component called myComponent and it's implemented on init, and we have constructor and ngOnIt. In that constructor, my service injected through the constructor, and ngOnIt we are calling the method service method that's called load data. If you want to execute the console log, first it will print the constructor called and next ngOnIt. Constructor is used to inject the my service and ngOnInit is used to call methods initialize data once the component is ready. We'll talk about when to use what. Use constructor for injecting dependencies and setting default values, and use ngOnInit for fetching data, accessing at input properties, running logic that depends on the Angular setup. We all do the some common mistakes here. Trying to access at inputs property in the constructor, they are not available yet. Putting heavy logic in the constructor instead of ngOnIt.